We have a Coppola questions before we move on.
All right. Coppola questions. At a certain point, I was just like, why are we asking any questions during this fucking movie? But why was the guy standing in the doorway listening to the captain write a letter aloud to his wife?
Because that's how the writers think naval ships work.
Yeah, I guess.
He has to have a witness every time he writes a letter, I guess. I don't know.
Can I get a
He
witness?
hands it off, right? I'm guessing that's the guy that's supposed to go take it.
He's going to send it out, but
Yeah, do a telegraph with it or whatever, or mail it.
I thought they were going for like he's reciting the letter aloud to this guy and he's writing it down, but
Yeah.
no, he just takes the letter and leaves.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be that too. He's dictating the letter to him.
I mean, it's just supposed to be a parallel with the Japanese sub commander because he had people outside his door listening to him talk to himself. But that, I don't know.
Not conveyed very well.
No. Why in the fuck is that random jaw from a shark on the dock?
Foreshadowing, duh, dude. Subtle foreshadowing, too.
Why? Why was that there? What? I mean, it's okay. So if we're tracking that they're taking the bomb to the Enola Gay, and this is them loading it up onto the ship, onto the plane, which is totally not what happened. Why would there be a jaw from a shark just randomly on the hangar deck or whatever? Like, why?
Because it's cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's cool.
God damn it. How did Mick Horder lose his foot in a way that allowed him to just hang on to it and hold it?
Yeah, that was one of mine, too.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's
Was
one
it
of my
just like
questions, too.
holding on by a string and he just like cut it off himself and then just was like,
Maybe.
I'm going to keep this as a keepsake.
I guess maybe that's what we're supposed to take away from that.
Put this in my trophy room.
Could use it for shark bait to keep the
Using
sharks
it to beat
away.
my wife later.
God. Ew, bitch, you fucking stupid bitch.
I didn't survive at sea for all the time for me to come home to a burnt roast.
My baby boy is hooked on crack just like I was. What was with Standish trying to make it to an island or whatever? Was he just hallucinating? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, when I saw it, I thought it was just them trying to steal the remaining supplies away and get away from the people. But then after watching like accounts of it saying that they hallucinated islands and did all kinds of horrible shit, like it was probably just that.
Yeah, that's what that's how I understood it. Is he was hallucinating, and he genuinely thought there was an island over there.
Yeah. It's the only thing that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah,
An island has been spotted.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I thought it was just an excuse to take the remaining supplies and divide them among three people instead of whatever he left with.
They just like went over like a mile and just ate all the
they
supplies.
battled a mile out, mile back. Mm-hmm. Never mind, there's no island over there.
No island,
These
just
sharks
sharks.
got ate by
Just more
sharks.
sharks.
Yeah, just more sharks. There's an island of sharks, but that's about it.
Do you think Bama tossed Mike's corpse into the ocean? And why didn't we get that scene? That would have been great.
No, I think
you're
she
starting to
kept him
stink,
in
buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Again,
he could have.
would have been a better story.
I think Mike
I think
was
they would have.
laying on top of him. I think you would have to just to protect
Yeah,
yourself. From
Strip them and
100%.
throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
There
like
was something.
when they pushed McWhorter over, it's like
Yeah.
burial at sea. That's honorable for
Yeah.
Navy. You know.
Plus, it gives the shark something to eat instead of
Yeah, instead of him. Yeah. And then I guess this is sort of answered. This is fairly standard in warfare, but like, why would they bomb the oil slick? I mean, I guess
It's just that's the subs leak oil, and then when they find oil slicks, they know there's a sub nearby, I guess. And
But like, what are the chances that they would actually hit anything with that?
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess this is part of my ignorance to how subs work. Would an operating sub be leaking oil?
yeah, I don't know.
I would assume that if there's an oil slick above the water from a submarine, that fucking sub is probably toast. Because let me tell you, any little thing that happens down there, just not looking good for your chances of survival. I think we all know what happens to submarines under massive amounts of pressure.
Yeah. We'll move on. Yeah.
That's all we got to say.
Other questions?
We had the one, but it was like, why did Garrison go blind?
Yeah, I think that's realistic because imagine being stuck out there with no way to protect your eyes.
Yeah.
I would imagine more people did go blind, but because he was one of the fake characters that they had to have us follow,
they just put it in there. Yeah,
they put it in there to show that folks, ended up losing.
Again, they could have focused a lot more on the survival story. There was a lot of horrible shit that they glossed over.
Yeah,
they were stuck in. They were dying of thirst. They were in the blistering sun all day and then freezing temperatures at night, and I was thinking all of their life jackets were getting waterlogged, so they had to take them off and stick them on rafts and let them dry out so that they could not be so waterlogged, and then cycle them through and stuff. They were doing a whole bunch of stuff to survive that they just never show in the movie.
They showed none of that.
Focusing on the resourcefulness of I'm sure that they had tactics to make water using one of those little sun evaporation style kits. Maybe they did that out there. There had to have been
and there
way
was
that
guys
they
that drank seawater and went insane and stuff, and they talk about that, but they don't show it. They could have shown a lot more of this stuff.
It feels like they tried to water this down, no pun intended, for a general audience or for kids in a way, maybe because of the sixth grader. I
think, it's just the subject matter is just so
it's horrifying.
Heavy. But then it's why bother? Why bother trying to make it if you're going to sanitize it like this? That's my Coppola question. Why bother?
Why bother?
Really, why bother making this film? You didn't stick to any historical accuracy. You created these paper thin characters who I never felt sympathetic for because there was no depth to them.
Yeah,
everything was forced.
They're just caricatures of characters we've seen in other movies, and not even the characters who were actually there. There's so many interesting stories that actually happened, and somehow you just were like, nah, none of those are good enough. Let's just make up some shit.
We Were Soldiers, and then maybe take influence from that, or even Black Hawk Down. You actually develop these characters throughout the tragic events instead of creating these fake characters and bullshit plot lines. Who gives a fuck about Bama and Claire, and who gives a fuck about some guy who's massively in debt to all the sailors? Who cares about that shit?
Or again, to use something they took influence from, Band of Brothers. Those were all based on real people, and it was the stories you got of the horrors of war. You could do it.